We're live on YouTube. So there's nobody waiting on YouTube. So that's live and up and running. So let's get the Zoom back up. Okay. Right, I think we're ready to go. So,
well, I was thinking if it'd been a couple of weeks later, John, I could have been down in that area with the van with the boy, because with the Paris Olympics going on and the strikes possible in terms of ferries from England to France, I contemplated going down Santander route.
Yeah. It's a good route, that one.
Avoid any complications.
We're coming back that way this summer.
She's staying down there for a bit.
Oh, well, I'm going just for the race and coming back. Then we're going on holiday, and we're going to Spain because we haven't been for a long time. So
Dogs and everything.
dogs and everything, which is an expensive pain. But if we want to go for 3 or 4 weeks, then that's what has to be done. Okay, are we ready to rock?
Yeah.
You ready, Pi?
Yep.
Got the sun beaming through here.
Yeah, some sun's broken out here. It was miserable this morning.
Okay, so we are going to admit everybody. Ready to go? Off we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first Teaching Live Grammar of the summer term. It's great to be here. We always like doing these sessions. I think one of the great things about grammar is that it helps you so much in later life. You don't think about it at the moment, you think, oh gosh, it's grammar, but actually it's really good fun and it really helps you in later life. I always learn new things when I'm doing these grammar sessions with Pi, so hopefully you'll get as much out of it as we do. My name's John Sutton. Welcome to Lancaster Road Primary School in Lancaster, funnily enough, or Morecambe probably. Now, Lancaster Road is an interesting school because I don't know if David and Pi, you know which really famous person went to Lancaster Road Primary School.
Eric Morecambe.
You knew. How did you know that, Pi?
I don't know. I just knew it.
Yes, he did indeed. He went to Lancaster Road Primary School. So good morning to Lancaster Road. Bolton Parish are here as well, old friends of Teaching Live, and as are John Moore and 1 or 2 other schools as well that we'll get to know over the coming term. So we'll just introduce everybody. My name's John Sutton. I was a teacher in the dim and distant past. I do quite a lot of writing, so grammar sessions really help me. With me this morning are Pi Corbett. Good morning, Pi.
Morning, everybody, and looking forward to these sessions which keep us sharp. Grammar is a bit of a slippery eel. It's all about function. The job. What's the job of different words in sentences and then different parts of sentences and sentences themselves? It's all about the function, what they do in sentences. So we'll be looking at that. And also thinking about how you use the different things in writing to make your writing really sharp, really good, really effective. So looking forward to this session, getting us going. How are you this morning, David?
I'm very well, Pi. Yes, I'm based in Chorley, probably about half an hour down the M6 from Morecambe and Lancaster. But yeah, the sun is out. It's beaming through here. It's probably not as warm as it looks, I expect, so I might get the dog out later for a little wander. But yes, I used to be a teacher, head teacher of a couple of schools, one actually very close to Lancaster about 10 years ago in Caton. I was there for a while as head teacher. So yeah, I know the area very well. Looking forward to this. Always like grammar. It's very challenging. Gets you thinking, does grammar. So it gets my cogs moving, gets the cobwebs flying and all sorts of things. You'll see them dusting off as I move my head around in this session.
I know. I love it when I watch you when we're playing the games. And you can almost see those cogs whirring as you're really thinking deeply, because as we said, it is a tricky job. Now, John, we always start, do we not, with a little game. So partner A, partner B. Now, you could be in, you could have more, but it's ideal. You could have a group of 3 or 4, but it's ideal if you're in pairs. And the one we're going to do this morning is partner A starts with basically an adjective and a noun. So you've got to think of something. So if I was looking at, and to think of things, I often look around me so I can see, okay, I can see a tree. And I've got to give it an adjective so I'm to describe it, to tell the reader more about it. So the noun is the tree, the thing, and I'm going to say, okay, the gnarled tree. Love that word, gnarled. The gnarled tree. So we've got the gnarled tree. You'll need the word the gnarled tree, and then David, partner B, has got to do a verb and an adverb. So the verb will tell us what it's doing, and the adverb will slightly modify, slightly change, slightly add to that. So if I said the gnarled tree, what would you say, David?
Groaned painfully.
Oh dear. Okay, now you've got the idea. Do you want to be A or B, David?
I'll start with A.
Okay, you be A, I'll be B. So I've got the verb and the adverb. I thought you'd do that because in some ways it's hard. It's harder for partner B because you don't know what partner A is going to say. So you're going to need the word the and then an adjective and a noun. And then I've got to be quick as a ferret and think of a verb and a classic adverb, the old ly ones. So off you go, David.
I'm going to go with the lazy. I'm thinking of a dog, but I'm going to go with a name it. I'm going to go with a breed of dog. So the lazy Alsatian.
Well, evidently it snored horrendously.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Chuck another one at me.
Let's go with the I'm going to go for a lorry, so a big heavy lorry. So the ginormous truck.
You can see what I mean by cogs turning, John, can't you?
Yeah. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make something that I know that you can then build on.
Made up word as well. Enormous.
Enormous.
Okay, the enormous truck, did you say?
Yes.
The enormous truck. All right, I'm going to muck around with this. The enormous truck tiptoed daintily.
Oh.
Completely impossible. So, yeah. Okay. Chuck another one at me.
The ancient pub.
Burned rapidly. Okay. After 2 minutes, John will put a timer up. After 2 minutes, you swap over. So we'll just model that. So I'm now going to be partner A, and David, I'm going to chuck something really tough at him, I think. So the rotten avocado.
Screamed silently.
Okay. The dancing jellyfish.
Tickled playfully.
The melting stone.
Oh, the melting stone.
And you can't say melted.
Oozed.
Oozed or vanished slowly.
The hot snow.
Dripped. Ooh, I don't want to go for an obvious one. Dripped. Oh, painfully.
The isolated eyeball.
Blinked rapidly.
We probably better stop there. So I think everyone's got the idea, John, partner A, partner B. A does adjective and noun, you'll need the word the, and then partner B has to round it off with a verb and an adverb. So just to warm ourselves up into thinking about the function, how these different types of words are
And
used.
I always think, Pi, that it's better if you come up with an example that makes some kind of sense. So rotten avocados screaming silently and enormous trucks tiptoeing daintily are not the well, they're interesting. Let's put it that way. See if you could get adverbs and verbs that actually fit. So I'm going to start a timer. At this point, we all go quiet and we will leave you to play the game in the classroom for 4 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'll swap you over. So if you were partner A, you become partner B, and so on. So partner A, adjective and noun, partner B, verb and adverb. Off we go. Okay, time to swap roles. So if you were partner A doing the noun and adjective, you now become partner B doing the verb and adverb, and vice versa. Okay, that sound signifies the end of the game. So if you could bring your attention back to the whiteboard, we will crack on with the lesson. So we need to go to the TeachingLive website now. So children on your devices, you need to be on teachinglive.net in a browser. Excuse me. And it should look something like that. If you're on a mobile device, you might have the hamburger button, the 3 bars for the menu, and not the menu across the top. But what you need to do is go along to the session menu and click on the 11 a.m. grammar session. Excuse me. Right, now, on here, this will look the same every week. The only difference will be the date at the top. Now, teachers, if for whatever reason YouTube doesn't work, you can use this page to go to the live stream, the YouTube live stream. Sorry, if Zoom doesn't work is what I meant to say. You can click to watch this session on the YouTube live stream instead of on the via Zoom. So that's a sort of a backup in case Zoom isn't working. Also, teachers, there's a copy of the teacher notes. We send these out every Friday, but if you can't find them or whatever, you can get the teacher notes from the session page as well. So underneath that, we've got 3 Padlet activities and a blog challenge, and we work through these in order. So I'm going to click on Padlet activity number 1, and we go to a Padlet page. And here we'll listen to Pi give us some instructions, what he wants us to write on the Padlet, and then I'll take you to the Padlet and show you how it works. So, Pi.
Okay, so obviously we're looking at thinking about nouns and adjectives with this one. And all I'm asking you to do is to rewrite the underlined blue bit. So in that first one, the tired, weary, exhausted man ran. You're going to keep the words "the" and "ran" because they're in red. But I'm worried about if somebody wrote that, the tired, weary, exhausted man. Well, what am I worried about, John?
Well, and it's quite a common problem with writing is that they've used a list of 3 adjectives, all of which basically mean the same thing.
Of those 3, which this is a bit of a matter of taste, really. They all sort of mean the same thing. Which one would you go for?
I would say exhausted, probably. I think it paints a bit of a fuller picture of the person running and how they're running and what they look like. But
okay,
equally, the weary man, the tired man, all of them work, but I think exhausted is possibly the most descriptive.
Okay, it's the strongest of the 3, isn't it?
Yes,
if you were to
yes.
put them in order, exhausted is beyond being tired or weary. You're exhausted. You're really, really tired. Now, I've also underlined man. And while you were talking, John, I was thinking, okay, well, if we're to change the word man, what sort of person might be really exhausted? And it was the marathon, of course, the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking that, Pi, but if you then wrote the exhausted runner ran,
Yes.
that will be as bad as saying the tired, weary, exhausted man. You'd have to change ran as well. Otherwise, if you said the exhausted runner ran, it would just sound odd. So you'd have to change that as well.
Okay. So what would you go for instead of man?
So it could be the runner, it could be the exhausted soldier.
Soldier, yeah.
It could be
Politician being chased down the road, John.
It could be a politician. It could be almost any type of. It could be exhausted shop assistant.
Right.
It could almost any sort of person, just other than man, because man is just a very it's a very bland word, isn't it, Pi?
It is. I think I'm going to go for the exhausted burglar ran.
Yes. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so that's what you've got to do. The second one basically is the same thing because old and ancient mean the same. So are you going to go with old or ancient or another word that means the same sort of thing? But you've also got to change that animal because at the moment we can't see that animal. I don't know whether you mean a dog, a horse, a cat, or a chameleon. So you've got to specify the type of animal. You've got to name it. So what we're doing, John, is we're working on adjectives and we're working on nouns so that we avoid saying the nice man dashed down the nice road, but we bring it alive with our adjective, with the choice of adjective, and with the choice of noun. So take us on to the Padlet, John. Just show us how we do that.
So click on the button underneath. It says Padlet. Click here on Padlet 1, and up will come a grammar Padlet. Now, in the bottom corner, David, would be helpful if you could post the words on there. In the bottom corner, there's a plus sign. If you click the plus, up will pop. I call it a post-it. And in the subject, you put your first name only, and then you put the name of your school. I'm from Lancaster, so I just put Lancaster. Now, do not press the return key because that submits it. So go down to where it says write something beautiful, and I'm going to click in that box, and then I'm going to write the exhausted postman ran. There we go. How's that one, Pi?
Yeah, I like that one.
Click.
He's late for work or whatever.
Yes, the exhausted postman ran, and I'm going to click submit. Once I've clicked submit, it goes to David for moderation. And until David's approved it, it won't appear. Now, this is a grammar session, so we are looking for accuracy all the time. If you're missing out capital letters and full stops, we're going to get slightly cross about it because this is a grammar session. Well, that's perhaps over egging it, but we're going to point it out. So do take care. Do read what you write. The ancient poison dart frog ran from Jacob in Bolton Parish. The shedding snake rested. Alfie from Bolton Parish. The stranded man ran. That is Ellis from Lancaster Road. The old lazy bored man cried.
Oh, we got the same problem there, John. We got
So
three
lazy
adjectives that work against each other, I think.
Yeah, you've got if you're doing a list of adjectives, you have to be really careful, Matteo and Maeve. The old lazy bored man cried. Not sure about that one.
I think
not put a full stop in either.
I think, John, because you've got three different things as a reader to think about. You've got to think, well, he's old, he's lazy, and he's bored. That it's too many things to be thinking about, and so it loses impact. Stick to one, at the most two. The ancient cat ran, the mortifying creature opened its vast jaw.
Hyder from Bolton Parish. The humble man tumbled on the street. I think he's rewritten the nice man dashed down the nice road. I think you could improve the street there, Hyder, by giving it a name. The humble man tumbled on West Street or Bolton Road or Manchester Road, whatever it might be.
Maria from Bolton Parish, you could change that man, the pleasing man, dashed down the road, mellifluous road.
The bloodthirsty python opened its jaw. Hugo from Lancaster Road. So replaced mouth with jaw, and I think jaw is possibly a stronger noun, especially when you're talking about a snake, like a bloodthirsty python, but scary animal, the bloodthirsty python. That's excellent, Hugo. Well done. Lacey from Lancaster Road, the ancient cat ran. I think you can possibly do something with cat. What sort of cat is it? Is it a tabby cat? Is it a jaguar? Is it a leopard? Is it a tiger? Is it a tomcat? There's all kinds of cats, and I'm not really a cat expert, but
Siamese.
Siamese, yes. Thank you, Pi. Sienna from Bolton Parish. The weary runner ran. That's a real tongue twister, that one, Sienna. But the weary runner ran. I'm not sure about runner and ran. I think you can improve that one. The gaping crocodile groaned. Yeah, I like that.
Josh, you need oh no, somebody's. It was a full stop. It was Casper. The golden sun gleamed beautifully on the green grass.
Excuse me, sorry.
You need a full stop there, but also emerald and green mean the same thing, Casper. So you choose one or the other. Generally speaking, one adjective will do it. So we've got Vanessa, the tired, grumpy old man. You've got three things there. I'd go for the grumpy old man got onto the bus. I like your flesh cruncher, Jacob.
I like Oliver from Lancaster Road. The crazy man bolted across the street. Bolted rather than ran.
Yeah.
That's a really strong
Yep.
verb, that one, Oliver. That's a really good choice. I'm not sure. I mean, across the street, that works. Across Main Street, across Lancaster Road, across puts it in a place. Mia from Lancaster Road. The freezing snow fell quickly. Now, if I say, actually, Pi, what do you know about snow?
It's cold. It's freezing.
It's cold. It's always cold. So if you say the snow fell quickly, you know it's freezing already because it's snow. So sometimes a really good example is in the examples here, the massive skyscraper. All skyscrapers are massive. So sometimes when you choose an adjective, you've got to be careful not to choose one that's obvious. The freezing snow, the hot fire. We all know fire's hot. You don't need to say it's hot. So I wonder if you can come up with a better adjective than freezing. It's can be quite difficult.
You've got to tell the reader something they don't already know.
Yeah. So Alex has gone for the crisp snow fell. I think that works a little bit better.
Because snow can be quite hard.
Yeah, the hard snow fell onto a red car. That's what Molly from Lancaster Road has done. But Molly, you've not put a capital letter and you've not put a full stop. If you want to, if you click on the three dots next to your Padlet, there will an edit button will come up. You can edit your entry. So Molly, you can stick a capital letter and a full stop on there. Elliot, I'm not sure which class which school you're in. The injured deer limped slowly into the undergrowth. And Shane from Lancaster Road, the glass skyscraper towered over the world. I like glass skyscraper because it tells me something about the skyscraper. It's not a concrete skyscraper. It's a glass skyscraper, and it immediately is painting an image in my mind. So that works better.
Clover from JMPS. Mr. Crackley wandered down the road, drink in hand, with his head bowed and shoulders drooped.
Katie from 6B in Lancaster Road. The sweaty postman ran away from the golden retriever. So it's not just the postman ran. The sweaty postman ran away from the golden retriever. You've got a random comma in the middle of there, Katie, which I don't know why that's I'm going to say to you, it was an accidental slip on the keyboard, but it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it's important when you've written it before you publish, just reread, particularly checking capital letter full stop. So Ed, for instance, I like your idea of the thorny. I think you need skin means skin, not shin, but you've missed the capital letter off, Ed. So nip back and edit that for us, please. It's easy to make mistakes. We all do it. But it's important to reread, double check. And as John said, it is grammar. So we've got to get capitals, full stops, etc., all in the right places. Probably time to move on, John, from that
Yeah,
one.
I'm just going to choose one. I'm going to just mention one more, which has now moved, so I'm not going to mention it. So we're going to come out of there. We're going to click the back arrow and go back to the session page and go up to the session at the top, click on grammar session. So we get back to our grammar session page. And we will now go on to Padlet activity number 2.
Okay, so the thing about nouns and adjectives, well, what we were thinking about there, don't use too many adjectives. Don't tell the reader, there's no point in putting the big giant because they're all big. Don't tell the reader what the reader knows. And when you choose them, try and slightly surprise the reader. Add in something new, like the shy giant. The reader couldn't possibly have known that, but also because the giant is shy, it's going to have an influence on what happens next. So we've got our noun, the word giant. We said it's a shy giant. It's called modifying. The adjective modifies. It means it slightly changes the reader's view of the noun, and they go together, those two. Same with the verbs and the adverbs. So if you look at the second one, Joe went quickly. The quickly is adding to, slightly changing the verb. Now, if we look at the first one, I'll work on the first one. Starving, Bob got the donut and got it into his mouth slowly. Those gots really grate on me, John. It's got, came, went, said. They're words which we use often in speech. And when you're writing, because you're slowing the language down, of course, you can choose, and you can do a lot, because verbs are like they bring the sentences alive. They're like the engine of the sentence. So he got the donut and got it into his mouth. Now he's starving. So I don't think he just picked the donut. I don't think he selected the donut. I don't think he touched the donut. He's starving. So Bob, what do you think, John? What would go?
I think he either snatched or he grabbed.
Okay, Bob grabbed let's say starving. Bob grabbed the donut and got it into his mouth. It wouldn't be and placed it in his mouth.
No, he'd stuff it. I think he stuffed it.
And stuffed it into his mouth. Do you think he did it slowly?
No, I think he did it quickly, but I could rapidly, quickly. So sometimes you could say, you could choose some, like you could overwrite and say with alacrity or something like that. But sometimes using a simple word like quickly is the right choice of word.
I'm going to go for desperately. Let's see if it works.
Yeah. No, I like that one, Pi. That's good.
Starving, Bob grabbed the donut and stuffed it into his mouth desperately. I think that all hangs together very nicely. So in the second one, we've got one of those words that's very, very weak. Joe went down the road. So is he running? Or she? Dancing, skipping, trudging, ambling, wandering, limping?
I'd say dashed. I think Joe dashed, went quickly down. Joe went quickly down the road. Joe dashed down the road. And then you could.
You don't want to say Joe dashed quickly, because that's what dashed.
Right. Yeah, you got to be careful. You run quickly, run fast. If you're running, you're going fast. So you're telling the reader something they already know. So if I use dashed, I would use it on its own. Joe dashed down the road.
Yeah.
Or
add in a bit of a surprise, John.
Yes.
Joe dashed. Well, it could have been desperately, anxiously,
and you think
despairingly.
Why and then it starts to bring questions into your mind.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Choosing your words carefully. Jody was running into the classroom. I don't like that at all, Pi.
No.
And yeah, Hamish came up the huge hill nicely. Hamish said quietly no. Ben looked funnily at the savage pirate. Okay, you're concentrating on the blue bits only. You do not need to rewrite the rest. It's just the blue bit. So click on Padlet 2 and as before, as soon as David unfreezes the Padlet, there we go. You can rewrite those sentences and improve them significantly, I think. I think you must have been on an off day when you wrote those, Pi.
Yeah. Terrible bits of writing.
I know, dreadful.
But it's funny how just working on the verb can
Yes.
improve the sentence so radically.
Yeah, Joe galloped rapidly down the road. So galloped rapidly is you're in danger there, Mustafa, of telling the reader something they already know. Because if you're galloping, you're going pretty rapidly. Galloped down the road. So sped down quickly. St. Peter's Way with 5 donuts in his mouth. Sped quickly. Again, Daniel, sped and quickly. If you're speeding, you're going quickly, so you don't need to use quickly. Starving, Bob bought, so he's Lacey from Lancaster Road. Bob bought the sugary donut and shoved it in his mouth rapidly. Yeah, I like that one, Lacey. I like the fact that you bought the donut, not grabbed because you've gone in a shop and bought it. Joe ran as fast as he could down the road. Yeah, that works. Dominic?
I'm just looking for capital letters and full stops, John.
Yeah.
Mostly there. If you forget, nip back and edit it. Because we all know these things.
Oliver and Jacob are painting a very amusing picture for me. Joe Biden ran at the speed of light to go to bed. And picturing Joe Biden moving at the speed of light is difficult. Ellis from Lancaster Road. Joe skipped desperately down the road. Not sure about skipped and desperate, Ellis. I think skipped happily, skipped. Oh, I like this one. Oh, that's Pie from Stroud. Some curiously the savage pirate. Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one, Pie.
Now, there was running, Sophia at Lancaster, Jody was running. You could tighten that and say Jody ran. Whenever you got was and ing, you can nearly always tighten it.
So Sophie ran fast. Habiba sprinted swiftly. Both of those, Joe ran really fast. Adding really never really does anything to a sentence. You can choose both ran fast, sprinted swiftly, ran really fast. You can choose a much better verb or a much better adjective.
Adverb. Sprinted, dashed, charged, stormed, lots of possibilities.
Loudly, clattered loudly into the classroom. Jody, who was running incredibly fast. So what you've done there, Lauren from Lancaster Road, is you dropped in a clause who was running incredibly fast. So you've got a comma at the start. You need a comma after incredibly fast.
Molly, full stop needed.
Oh, no,
Stephen.
you don't. No, so I take it all back, Pi. I was wrong. Jodie's right. She's punctuated it properly. Jodie, who was running incredibly fast into the classroom, comma,
yeah,
into her seat. She's got it in the right place. Well done, Lauren. I'm not sure about running incredibly fast, though. Because if you're running, you are moving fast.
Sam and Ollie, you need a full stop. And you've still got the word get in there, to get ice cream, to buy an ice cream.
Bob snatched the last donut and crammed it into his mouth graciously. Do you mean gratefully, Michael? Gratefully would work really well. Graciously, I don't think you cram things graciously, do you, Pi?
No, not even her Majesty, when she was alive, did that, and she was a gracious woman.
She would nibble graciously, I'm sure. But if you were starving,
Hamza stubbornly yelled no. That worked well.
screamed dramatically, no. That works as well.
Yep. Kiki and Poppy at St. Pat's. Well done. Poppy dashed into the classroom ready for the test.
Hamza stammered cowardly. Ben looked seriously at the pirate.
Yeah. Sometimes just the straightforward works well.
Yeah.
There's a danger of overwriting the sentences.
Harriet, Dingpants Woolfeet. That's an unusual bit of name it, but it's fine. Dingpants Woolfeet rushed across the busy road. Yep, that works.
Who wrote that one?
Harriet from Bolton Parish.
Okay.
Joe dashed rapidly down the road without hesitation. Ella from JMPS. Hamish walked up the huge hill tiredly. Don't need a comma there, Ella. Sophie from Jacobs. Sophie and Jacob from St. Patrick's Primary. Starving. Bob popped the donut into his mouth desperately. Popped has a double P. Otherwise, it will be poped. And I don't think he poped the donut. Oakalin whispered carefully, no. Right, we'll come out of the Padlet. And before we go on to the third Padlet, we'll go back to the session page and we will have a quick run through of the PowerPoint that's on the page. So Pi will talk us through this PowerPoint. Let me get it right. There we go.
This week we're starting relatively simply. I think everybody knows what a noun is and an adjective and a verb and an adverb. So we're starting simply. And it gets more difficult as we go along. That says phrases, which I think we've got the wrong thing there completely.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Who can we blame? Look at David looking around himself.
I think we'll draw a lot. That's next week, I think, isn't it, Pi?
I can't remember, but
I remember. So we're going to go back to. We'll go straight on to the third Padlet.
I'll solve that one to the Padlet.
We'll make sure we will put the correct, so you can run through that in class if we can't get to it on the end of the session. So Padlet number 3. So what are we doing on the third Padlet, Pi?
Oh, right. Okay. So let's have a look at this. This is what they call a closed procedure. It's basically the old game where you've got some words missing. The something village of Hobbiton has been attacked by the something and most something goblins. We are something for the something goblin hunter. We need you to get rid of these something beasts. Only the something should apply. We'll be offering a something sack of gold and a something house. We will provide you with a something sword and a something net. If you are successful, you will be crowned as something goblin catcher of the year. So if I start us off, the something village, we're looking for an adjective. The noun is the village. The tiny village of Hobbiton has been attacked by now we're describing goblins by the
fierce
and most dangerous,
villainous. Yeah, all those would work.
Yeah, something like that. We are looking for the
Searching is better than
We're
looking.
searching, for the something goblin hunter. Finest, best,
Finest, best, greatest.
for the greatest goblin hunter. We need you to rid our town of these something beasts. Only the something should apply.
I think you've probably got all the information that you need and all the information that we're going to give you there.
Yeah. So you're writing the sentences. John and I have done the first couple. So you could start with, we need you to rid our town of these something beasts. All you have to do is fill in the gap. You don't have to change anything else. Just fill in the gap. It's an adverb, basically.
So we're looking for powerful adjectives. We're looking for powerful verbs. We're looking for powerful
Could be adverbs, I suppose.
well.
I think most of them are adjectives now.
Most of them are adjectives actually in this, aren't they?
Yeah.
So well chosen, powerful adjectives.
And we've done the first two. So you're starting from, we need you to rid our town of these.
And you can do it as a whole paragraph if you want before you submit. So that'll take a little bit longer. But choosing the right words really, hopefully, brings the paragraph to life.
Yeah, it's all got to hang together.
The tiny village is a little bit like cold snow and hot fire almost, because all villages, no, they're not all tiny, but I think you could be a little bit more creative with that one.
Yeah, actually, I'm worried about the village because later I call it a town. We need you to rid our town. There you go, John.
Those are the kinds of inconsistencies with
so easy to do.
Love. We need you to rid our town of these ugly beasts. Ugly beasts, yep, these works. We need you to rid our town of these horrific beasts, Hugo from Lancaster Road. Yep, that works.
Ferocious.
Hideous beasts. Oliver from Lancaster Road. Horrendous beasts. Lauren from Lancaster Road.
Unwanted.
Blood-curdling beasts. Mustafa from Bolton Parish.
Unwanted fowl.
The humongous. The word humongous, Billy, it's not really it's a kind of a made-up word that is in speech but not in writing.
Yeah, unforgivable. Now, interestingly, Lacey from Lancaster Road has put, is it Lacey? Has put, I've lost it now.
Courageous beasts.
Courageous beasts. That's an interesting one because courageous is quite a positive word, and these things are horrible. But if they're courageous, of course, that makes them even harder to defeat and get rid of. Finn from JMPS has got, we need you to rid our town of these insidious, sinister beasts.
Insidious, sinister beasts. And Brady and Emma have got mucky green bad monsters. Be careful when you are writing lists of adjectives. It's very easy to get into overwriting, and mucky green bad monsters is heading down that way.
Yeah,
so
I think
dangerous, hideous beasts and ugly, thirsty beasts. Insidious and sinister maybe just about works.
Yeah, I think it does. So
be careful. You've got to be really careful if you start finding in your writing 2 or 3 adjectives together, it can very quickly sound, if you read it out loud, it will always help.
Now, Charlie, you've written, we are winning for the mighty goblin hunter. I don't think that we are winning. I think it's more like we're looking for or seeking or searching, something like that. And you missed off the full stop. Sophie, that's an interesting one, John. JMPS, we'll be offering a radioactive sack of gold and a strange house. Well, I wouldn't take the job for that.
No, I don't think I would either. I don't want a strange house, and I certainly don't want radioactive gold.
No.
Freddie from John Moore. Here's an interesting one, Pi. We need you to rid this town of these town-destroying beasts. I really like town destroying, but you've got to be careful because you've already said town in the sentence. So if you'd said we need you to rid this village of these town destroying beasts, that would work.
Urban destroying? I don't know. It's a good idea.
It is a good idea, and it does, so I like it. We will provide you with an ancient fire sword and an infinite capacity net. That's much more like it, Christopher. I'm applying for your job. That's Christopher from Bolton Parish. The hidden village of Hobbiton. That's I
Oh, I like that.
prefer that to Tiny, definitely.
Yeah.
That's Shane from Lancaster Road has been attacked by the strongest and most huge. If you say by the strongest and most huge goblins, that is quite what the most huge goblins.
Laces offering us a magical, majestic sword and an unbreakable, substantial net.
Yep, that's. I do like it. I'd like the idea of a magical, majestic sword.
If successful, you will be crowned as the world champion goblin catcher of the year.
Yeah, that works as well.
Yes.
It's
Brooklyn.
Now, where was the one I was just looking at? It's superlatives. Bad. Now, Leighton from Bolton Parish, we need you to rid our town of these baddest beasts. So, bad is one of those unusual words. So, bad, worse, and worst. But the baddest of beasts, I don't know. Does that work, Pi?
Is the baddest of beasts.
Yeah, that would work. If you put an of in of these baddest of beasts, I think I think that would work. We need you to rid our town of these mad monsters. I like that, Mohammed. Simple but effective.
Touch of alliteration works.
Yes, yes.
Francesca, I don't know if you can have a vast village. And Hobbiton needs a capital letter.
Yes. What was the one I was just looking at? Was Freddie. Only the bravest, boldest should apply. So you've used a comma there, which suggests a list of at least 3 things. So if you read it out loud, only the bravest and boldest should apply. Now, bravest and boldest, they both kind of mean the same thing, but they can't. If you've written carefully, if you wrote the bravest and boldest, that would work, because it does sound a bit like advertising speak. But bravest, boldest, you need an and in the middle there. But you could equally say only the bravest or only the boldest should apply, because they both mean the same thing. Freya from Lancaster Road, only the courageous should apply. I like courageous. We will be offering a mountainous sack of gold. Yep, that's good. I'm applying for that job.
Aisha, or is it Asaya, Lee, and Maya? Sorry if I said that wrong. You need a full stop. Just double check. You can knit back and edit. You've probably got time. We will provide you with a slashing sword.
Cheyenne from Bolton Parish, the ruined, destroyed old village of Hobbiton. So you've used 3 adjectives there, and I think that's too many. I think if you just used one, the ruined village of Hobbiton would work, or the old village. I mean, old village. It's a bit boring, but the 3 together, it's overwriting. It's too many adjectives.
Yeah, I mean, if you say ruined, then that means it has been destroyed, and it also suggests that it's probably an old village. The ruined village of Hobbiton has been attacked again by the scary ghosts and mostly enormous goblins. A little bit overwritten, but you've had a good go at it.
Right, David, did you figure out if Pi had sent you the wrong PowerPoint or
Oh, it's all corrected now.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come out of this Padlet and we'll go back to the PowerPoint on the session page, and actually it will round up the session quite nicely. So go back to the 11 o'clock.
You might need to refresh the page, but
Yep, that looks like it.
Yep. This is
So, PowerPoint, you might want to jot down notes at the back of your book as I'm doing this, little things just to remind yourself so you're absolutely clear what these basics are. That looks as if it's, we're looking at nouns first. Nouns name a person, obviously, or a thing. So in that first one, the bird looked at the fruit. We got the bird and the fruit. So it's bird and fruit. Man stroked his dog. Test for a noun is you can put the, a, or an in front of it. And nouns are usually singular, that means there's one of them, or plural, that means lots. So take a word like fear. Can fear be a noun? So first of all, the test is, can I put the, a, or an in front of it? The fear, a fear. It sounds as if it can. The fear. Can I pluralize it? The fears that Pi felt. So that word fear can be a noun. I say can, John, because sometimes words can have different functions. So if you get a word like green, off the top of your head, you'd say, oh, green's an adjective because it's describing the color of something. But if you're a golfer, you play your golf on the green. So a golfing green. So it can be a noun as well. So words can sometimes have two different jobs, two different functions, if not three. So I think we all know what nouns are. We're used to that one. So name it is what we were looking at. Instead of the bird looked at the fruit, you write the vulture looked at the pineapple, or even the vulture stared at the pineapple, working with the verb there. The man stroked his dog. It's a bit bland. The politician stroked his Rottweiler, which always, to me, sound like dangerous dogs. I don't know if they are. The teacher stroked his poodle. So we know what a noun is. Name it. Remember, don't do bland writing. Bring it alive by naming it. Okay, so that's what we know about nouns. And adjectives tell us a little bit more about the noun. They modify it. So we got the yellow bird. We could actually get rid of yellow bird and say canary, because canaries are yellow. The canary stared at the juicy fruit. What would be a juicy fruit? Yams. Mangoes.
Mangoes.
But yellow bird adds to the yellow. The bird tells us a bit more about it. Juicy fruit. It's not a withered, dry old thing. It's a juicy fruit. So usually the adjectives snuggle up by the nouns. Occasionally they come in a different position. So if you look at the fruit was juicy. Now the test is, can you put it by just in front of the noun? The juicy fruit. Yes. It's telling us more about the fruit. Adjective. The bird was yellow. Is that an adjective? Can I say the yellow bird? Yes. Therefore, it is an adjective. Each adjective has to earn its place. Choose carefully. So the dangers are, number one, use too many. And quite a lot of people were doing that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That first one, they all mean the same thing. But even if you said three adjectives that were totally different from each other, it's still a bit of overwriting. There are too many. They clash against each other. Sometimes, I'd have as a rule, use one, at the most two, but they shouldn't mean the same thing. The second one, the cold snow fell, that's telling the reader what the reader already knows. All snow is cold. So surprise the reader. That's my example with not the big giant, but the shy giant. So that's something worth knowing, something new, something different, something unexpected for the reader. That's a bit about how you use adjectives. Now we go on to presumably the verbs. And that's an action, usually something happening. And I call them the engine of a sentence. They get things going. So if you've got a man and you've got a road, it only gets going when you say the man went down the road or leapt down the road or skipped down the road. So it gets action. It gets the thing going. Choose them with care. If you've got the man dashing, that means he's going really fast. And as John was saying earlier, look at the third one. Why is he limping? Has he been shot? Is he in danger? Is he in pain? Is he going to get to the destination in time? Is he being chased? So a well-chosen verb, the engine of the sentence, can really, really have an effect on the meaning and make the reader think. So that's the verbs. And of course, now we go on to the adverbs. And the main job of the adverb is to tell us a little bit more about the verbs. So walked slowly, it's dressing up the verb slowly. Mark you could say the man trudged. It's a bit like John saying he whispered quietly. Well, what's the point of that? Because whispering is quiet. Mark, if you said whispered loudly, that's interesting because my mother used to do that. Will you stop doing that? Very loudly. So adverbs can tell us how, when, and where. They're a bit like reporters. They report on the events in the sentence. So the man walked slowly. It's telling us how he walked. That afternoon, the man walked. So that's an adverb, an adverbial phrase, and it's telling us when. Down the road, that's telling us where. It's telling us where the man walked. Then we had when, and then we had how. So that's a bit about the adverbs. And they can move around in sentences. That's the other way you know it's an adverb, either an adverb with, you can get adverbs on their own, or what we call an adverbial phrase, which is 2 or 3 words. The man moved slowly. So you can say slowly the man moved, or the man slowly moved. Now, when you've got a word that you can move around, usually in 2 or 3 different places, it's probably an adverb, and it will tell us how, when, and where. And I made my final point, be very careful you don't say Hamza said quietly, stop. So adverbs and adjectives add to the verbs and nouns. They slightly change the meaning. They modify. They slightly change. They make a modification to the noun or to the verb. Choose with care. They must earn their place when writing. And verbs and nouns. Verbs are the engines. Without a verb, you don't have a sentence. Nothing's going on. So if you said the tired cat 2 fish, she's just rubbish. It only becomes a sentence when you put the verb in. The tired cat ate 2 fish. So you don't, if you haven't got a verb, John, you have not got a sentence. So, and the nouns, of course, and pronouns tell us what the sentence is all about.
So we will, thank you, Pi. So that PowerPoint is there for you to refer to. And we'll very quickly, because we're over time, we'll go to the blog challenge. And very quickly, Pi, tell us what we've got to do here.
Right. This one is all about changing the mood and the atmosphere. As soon as grim-faced Mr. Hardy strode into the class 7, the familiar room immediately appeared to turn gloomy. He was thin with an unpleasant stare like an angry snake. Settle down, children, hissed the new teacher. I am not used to being disobeyed. So all you've got to do is rewrite that, and you can change Mr. Hardy to Miss Honey or something. Rewrite that, but make it very, very positive. So you're not going to have grim-faced. Probably won't have strode. Won't have turned gloomy, etc. So you're now going to rewrite it as a positive bit rather than negative. So, John, once they've done that and typed it up as a Word document, how do they blog it for us?
So you put your, underneath the blog challenge, it won't take you long, this will be a very short exercise. Put your name, write the title of your blog post in the first box, first name in the second box, then write your blog post in this box here, or copy and paste it, and these will change later today, tick your school name from the list. So until you've got your school name on this list, don't submit. Agree to the privacy policy and click submit, and it will appear on the website. And once they've started appearing, you will see on the right here where it says season 10 grammar, that will say season 11 grammar. And as we publish your work, you will see a tag with your school on it where you can look at the work that your children have written. So we're slightly over time, so we'll draw it to a close there. Teachers will send you a video of the session. You've got the PowerPoint to refer to if you need to. There are more examples of that type of writing for children to work through in the teacher notes if you think they need more practice. Entirely up to you if you use them or not. So we will see you next week for week 2 of Teaching Live Grammar. Bye-bye.
Yeah, but well done. Great start, everyone. Bye.
Bye from me. The Padlets are all up to date, so you can go back and look at those. So well done, everyone. Bye-bye.